Coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about Roq Montgomery and the appearance that he made on the Bama Standard Podcast, saying that this team is more dialed in and more serious going into next season. I don't know why we're hearing about this right now, but it is what it is, and we're going to talk about my thoughts and opinions on that on today's video, as well as getting into some of those comments made by Roq Montgomery. So if you like that Alabama is getting more serious, do you like this mentality? Why they didn't have this mentality last year is beyond me, but it is what it is. So we're going to talk about it on today's video. But if you do like that they're really starting to get their heads out of their butts and really starting to take some accountability here, go ahead and like today's video for me right now. Look, I think many of us really had already thought that the standard had started to slip here at Alabama. NIL, I think, is one of the main things that really people point to really blame on that. You know, everybody wants a podcast. Everybody wants to go viral on TikTok. Everybody wants to have a chain that they can flaunt in the locker room. But look, man, these things are just not what equates to winning championships at the end of the day. And it certainly isn't what being a champion is all about. That's something that Nick Saban talks about all the time, not just wanting to win championships, but being a champion can lead to actually winning championships at the end of the day. And, when you talk about, some of those players in the past who have led Alabama to national championships and they know what the standard is, A.J. McCarron talked about it back in October on the McCready and Siskey podcast about the standard really beginning to slip for Alabama. This is what A.J. McCarron had to say on that podcast. He said, I think for sure the standard that everybody was used to for so long after Alabama fans went through a bunch of hell leading up to those glory years, I think it's definitely a different era. I don't think that you'll see the same standard from discipline just because that the team seems to do. It's a new day in age. Everybody's worried about effing TikTok and having a reel and being on highlights for their own personal self and personal gain and how much money they can make from NIL. We just didn't have that crap back then. It was a team sport. You came together as a team because you had one common goal, because you knew that that's how you were going to make your money was by winning. So let me know here at the pinned comment of today's video, what year do you guys actually believe the Alabama standard started to slip? Me personally, I thought it was after that 2020 season, really that 2021 season, kind of started seeing, different things that you really didn't like in the program. So let me know what you guys think at the pinned comment of today's video. If that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. You guys can take advantage of it. Get down there and let me know what you guys think. All right, this right here is actually what Roq Montgomery said. He said, the message right now from me and my teammates is we got a different outlook on everything. It's more of a dialed in, more serious. It's not like we ain't never been serious about anything, but we just got to get back to the old days, to when Alabama does nothing but win and win championships. That's the main focus right now. We ain't playing no games with anybody. Anybody on staff, anybody that's a player, don't be late to nothing. Do your work on time. Do the little stuff great. Do the little stuff right, and we'll be rewarded in the end. So we've just got to do the little things right, and then we'll be just fine. Look, I would absolutely love to believe that this is just the case. But for one, why do we still have backups doing interviews? Look, the only players that should be doing interviews right now are the starters. We don't need to hear from guys who are backups. They need to be working on their craft, doing their right things. If anybody wants to go out there and talk about accountability, it needs to be the starters, and it needs to be the leaders on the team, not necessarily the guys that are, working on their craft, and at the end of the day, they are being led. But look, we've also heard all of this before. They said the same thing last offseason. We heard it after every single loss this past season. Look, just like, most other people out there, I absolutely love Tyler Booker. But for the past 2 seasons, he said the offensive line was going to be dominant. Take no prisoners kind of mentality. I don't know how many people, or I don't know of many people who thought the offensive line was dominant since at least the 2020 season. And even then, you had an insane group of wide receivers that allowed Mac Jones to get the ball out quickly. You also had Najee Harris, who was just a beast at that running back position. Roq Montgomery did provide some examples, though, however, about how the team is, taking some more accountability that we'll talk about here on the back half of today's show. But first, you guys can get tickets to the big game right now by using Game Time, and I definitely recommend using the Game Time Picks feature. It just makes getting tickets to see live events even easier, whether that's concerts, comedy, theater, pretty much anything that needs a ticket. You guys can get tickets on Game Time, and the prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer you get to the start of the event. So, look, last minute, if you want to go to the big game, they're a little bit cheaper here on Game Time because you can get those tickets last minute. The Game Time Picks feature just filters out all the fluff to show you only the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. Look, guys, Cat Williams going to be in Birmingham tomorrow on Saturday. Get your tickets now just by using Game Time. They also have the all-in pricing feature. It's awesome. You just toggle this feature on, and it shows you the total up front, so there are no surprise fees at checkout. They also have the lowest prices guaranteed. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but again, create an account and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS. That's ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. That link will be in the comments section and the description of today's video. So download Game Time today. They have last-minute tickets at the lowest prices, all guaranteed. All right, so here's what Roq Montgomery said about this team now taking accountability during the offseason, at least. He said, "This is our second week of workouts. We started as a team last week. You can't be late to workouts no more." Why was anybody late to workouts in the first place? No more jewelry, no more necklaces, none of that. It's not a fashion show. It's football. Shout out to Coach Ballou, our head strength coach. He's not playing that shit. Excuse my language, but he's just not. If somebody is late to work out, everybody has 15 up downs on Ballou's whistle. And then whoever is late has to push the plate and do the workout and then do 15 up downs. Like, no jewelry, no nothing. Any team that has won before us, nobody was doing none of that. Look, I am glad that these things are finally happening because I do think it is a much-needed reality check for this team. But in my opinion, it definitely shows the lack of leadership the past few seasons from this Alabama team, and especially this past season, the first year under Kalen DeBoer. Look, those dominant teams in the past for Alabama, they were all player-led. Sure, Nick Saban was at the top of the helm, keeping everybody in check, but for the most part, those players were really the guys keeping everybody in check. You hear the stories about guys getting into fist fights in the locker room. Those are absolutely real stories. I've heard plenty of players from the past talk about those stories and how it, just kept guys accountable. They weren't fighting because they didn't like each other. They were fighting because somebody wasn't living up to the standard. They weren't living like a champion. It's like this parenting decision, whether or not to spank your kids, right? Look, some kids fix their attitude just by having a stern talking to. They don't need to actually get a spanking. But look, some kids are heathens, and they need a little bit extra motivation to get it right? Just to know that you are being serious. And Nick Saban always used to say, everybody wants to be the beast, but nobody wants to do what the beast does. Sometimes that means calling out your teammates. Sometimes it means being an asshole to them, regardless of how it might make them feel. Because look, at the end of the day, if they're folding because you yelled at them or, you had to do something a little bit extra to get their attention, bye. I don't want those kinds of players on my team anyways. And look, Nick Saban also used to say, mediocre people don't like high achievers, and high achievers don't like mediocre people. Showing up to things late, doing things, like wearing the jewelry, trying to, go viral on TikTok. Those aren't the kinds of things that, successful people out there are doing, especially if you're trying to win national championships at the end of the day. If this program wants to get back on top of college football, they, have to get back to that dog mentality that they used to have. So let me know in the comments section, are you guys buying this from Roq Montgomery? Let me know how you guys feel in the comment section. Type Y for yes or N for no. We got some more here from Roq Montgomery about pretty much why is this starting now. He said, so why start doing it now? It's a lot of stuff that happened last year, but we ain't won a championship since 2020. So it's like, what the hell are we doing? That's not Bama football. And look, he's absolutely right. Alabama football was always about being a champion, not necessarily about winning national championships. Because if you live like a champion, things will fall into place where you can actually end up competing for national championships. I hope that we actually see this team take some accountability next year, and it's not all talk. Because for the past few seasons, that's what it's been, just all talk. So I'll believe it when I see it.